structure of the EMO UK is a literal pyramid hierarchy. Doesn't this mean that your order is authoritarian in nature rather than democratic?
Oh, that's interesting. That's perhaps one of the other ways that Egyptian orders are different from classical Masonic orders, in that they mirror, in a very sort of surface way, the structure of Egyptian society. So the Grand Hierophant is always seen, and the Grand Master is always seen as a sort of the order's equivalent of a pharaoh. There is a sort of absolute authority in that role. But the way that the order in practice is practiced, no, it's absolutely democratic. I think, we have the same things as other forms of Masonry. People have to vote on the minutes. People have to all approve of somebody becoming a member. The Master of the Lodge every year can be voted in. The only exception really is in a Grand Lodge, where if a Grand Lodge is acting as the centre of an order, sometimes one needs to take more of a direct hand. So the Grand Master will usually decide for himself or herself what's best for the Grand Lodge as the centre of the order. But the appendant lodges, appendant sanctuaries, and the inner orders are run democratically, and they have to be. People have to be happy doing what they're there to do, and people may get bored of the position they're in and may wish to change. So really, the only role in an Egyptian order that is for life is that of the Grand Master. We're not allowed to retire that readily. We generally have to have somebody who acts as a protege, and they will have the mantle passed to them when we are no longer able to carry it. But they will only officially become Grand Master when we retire to the Eternal East. That's traditionally how it's done. There are reasons for this. It isn't simply to hold on to power, because the Grand Master's role, I always describe myself as a retreating wave. My influence should retreat as the order expands, and the things that are left behind are for people to gather and to look after. But as that wave retreats, it's supposed to leave things behind it. That's my job. That's the job of all Grand Masters. So the power really is always waning, in a sense, if you understand it that way, because you should be looking after these traditions and these rituals to pass it on to others. It's not for you to hold on to contain, to control. I do believe that knowledge that's held on to in an avaricious way turns septic. I think it's an unhealthy way of being. So the greatest delight for me is to have the opportunity and the structure to be able to share the things that I've gathered on my journey, and make sure that everyone is able to receive them in the right way and at the right time. And I think that's the same for all the other senior members of our order. So that's kind of how we see it. The only real authority is me. I'm the only one who has the power to sort of absolutely start or absolutely stop anything. But that power really is only exercised in emergencies, where I feel it's protecting the interests of the order or the individuals in the order. Generally speaking, it is democratic, and one has to trust one's members to be able to do the job properly, as long as they do it properly.
How will you ensure that the EMO UK stays meritocratic, accountable, representative and internally healthy?
Well, they're all things that we absolutely want to see. One of the things that we think is important is to make sure that the order is relevant to contemporary society, because they're the people who are going to receive it. So we will stay a mixed order.